How's it going, y'all? Have me an idea. Y'all might like it. I was looking at all these consoles and different cords that I have. And my brother always jokes that, if I went to a party, I would have like 10 different chargers for phones. So I figured I'd show y'all some of these cords that I have from just collecting chargers or different cords for phones or consoles. First off, with the Atari or the Sears Video Arcade 2, whichever one you want to call it. Let me follow this cord for a second. You have an F-type cord used with Atari and similar old consoles. You would have some bunny ear antennas that have it, and they were used to plug it into old TVs. Now, with more modern TVs that have the coaxial twist on for the antenna, you can use a converter. This next one, in just a moment, is the F-type. Probably, I think it may have been used for ColecoVision and others. That may have just been the screw-on with the two screws. I'm not sure though. You could also use it for switch boxes to switch between game and TV. This next one is the component. Now, I'm sure most of y'all know what this is. Newest generation, like Alpha, or might not if they've never really had component cords. Maybe they've only ever had HDMI stuff. But component, and what's really cool is this one, the left and right audio, there we go, sorry, are a little flat back. So if you've got a TV or a device flush against the wall, you can have the cables between them and it just goes down or up, however you choose to rotate it. Now, this was used for like Nintendo's NES. You used them for VCR and DVD players. A lot of different things, really, because it was audio and video. Now, I do have a couple extensions for red and white, which would have just been a little bitty plug with a red port on both ends and a white port on both ends. And I imagine they do the same thing. They have the same thing for video. But you would just plug them in, and then on the other side, you would have another cord to hook up to a device. And allegedly, I haven't had a chance to test this, but apparently you can use a little splitter cord, splitter plug, to plug both audio jacks into a Nintendo console, because it only has one audio, but apparently it can play the sound through both speakers and emulate or simulate using both speakers, but only playing one speaker's worth of sound. If I get a chance to test it and it works, I'll try to show y'all, because it'll probably be pretty cool. Now, this next one, you'll have to forgive me, but it is a very, very long Ethernet cord. Now, again, the newer generation might not know what it is because they're used to everything having wireless Wi-Fi, but you would take this and you would plug it into the back of your computer, hook it up to your modem or router, preferably your router so you can actually have firewalls, but you would hook it up to get internet access. You could also use it on like PlayStation 2 because some games, I think it was Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal, and some others had online access at one point where you could do multiplayer games. I think the PlayStation 2 version for Battlefront 1 or 2 had something like 50 or 60 player compatibility. That may have been the PC, but I think PS2 was like 8 or 16. Some old games had extremely high player count availability that you never really knew about until you happened to look it up. I didn't know Battlefront 2 had such extremely high player counts, but you would use Ethernet in the back of PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, PS4. A lot of the game consoles that had the option for internet connection, you could use Ethernet cords to have a more stable connection. In fact, I think the GameCube even had a modem attachment on the bottom that will let you hook up Ethernet. I think there was only one game though. It was like Phantasy Star Online. Never played it, but I've heard that it had, I think it had online multiplayer and maybe a chat function, but I've never been able to use, personally, I've never really had availability of doing online multiplayer for very long on games. I've done little stints of PlayStation Plus, Xbox Live, but never really had an extensive sit down of a game online. Aside from here recently, I've gotten some friends on Warframe on PlayStation 4. But I just wanted to show y'all a couple of the cords that I have. I do have an idea for the next one of me showing cords, is what I'm trying to say. I've got 3 different cords. I've got to get them. I've got to find them because I'm afraid they might be a bit jumbled. But I've got to get them and set them aside. But it's 3 different cords that you can use across multiple consoles. And, in the case of at least 2, multiple console generations. Which is really cool. But, y'all have a good one. See y'all next time.